we're talking shoulders. Many of you have, because of the golf industry in general, we talk a lot about 90-degree shoulder turn. I want to explain to you what that really means, okay? So we got Scully here, and we're going to zoom in here on her shoulder, and you notice here's your scapula, sits on top of the rib cage. Here's your clavicle. So what the shoulder is a support system to support the arm. So notice the ball socket, the head of the humerus right here, plugs in right there. Now, this is where you have range of motion. You got 360 degrees of range through the ball socket. But in actual fact, the shoulder only has 20 degrees of range. That's it. So now consider that you have here's your pelvis and rib cage. Here are your facet joints. So you notice how you've got these built-in stoppers to prevent the vertebrae from twisting. So that means this. Let's have a look. Now, we talked about shoulders only having 20 degrees of range. That means the ball socket of the hips, if you put the club on your shoulders, imagine you're in the gym and you got this set of barbells on your shoulders and you're supporting it through both hips, knees, and ankles. And you're going to turn your body as you're supporting that rack of barbells. So notice it appears that I have 90-degree shoulder turn, where in actual fact, it's my pelvis and rib cage turning on top of my legs and hips. I still have nice support through both hips, knees, and ankles. So this would be a Bubba Watson backswing, or a Jack Nicklaus backswing, or a Bobby Jones backswing, which is a really good backswing, by the way. So this is full support. So for those of you who are no longer spring chickens, well, this is really the way that you want to take your backswing. So the shoulders actually don't do anything. They just support. They're sitting on top of the rib cage. Now, I said 20 degrees, right? Well, now take your grip. Notice now that 20 degrees is down to about a 5 as a buffer in case you do, make a wrong move. So now let's look at how this is supposed to work. So the arms can swing. I got 360 degrees of range of motion. Useless if my body's in the way, so the rib cage can't be in the way. So you bend forward, let the arms hang. Here's the arm falling in front of you. So I'm going to let the arm fall in front of me, and I'm not going to let it hit my body. Notice how my brain says, hey, I need to go get the ground, use the ground so we can move the pelvis and rib cage out of the way so that my arm can swing freely this way. So notice my shoulders are just sitting on top of the rib cage, and the rib cage and pelvis are turning. That's how it really, really, really works. This is our anatomy. So you take your grip. Don't let your left arm hit you going back. Don't let your right arm hit you coming through. Out of the way, out of the way. And now we have a full, quote unquote, shoulder turn. The turn of the body is what's going to allow the arms to swing freely. Now, let's look at what happens if you don't turn the body. I'm going to rock my shoulder back as far as it goes, rock my shoulder forward as far as it goes. Now I'm going to try and take my club. Man, that's pretty sad, isn't it? Notice what happens? Everything's collapsed. So if the rib cage doesn't move, like if you're trying to coil the upper body against your lower body and you really don't have that youthful elasticity, something's going to break. It's either going to be your arms collapsing. I hope that's the case, because otherwise you're going to hurt yourself, instead of allowing the rib cage to move out of the way. So the simple command that you would have is, don't let the left arm hit you going back. So it's a really an amazing drill for you. Remember, let's say this is a sword. You grab your sword right at the bottom of the shaft, not on the club head, not too far up the shaft. Imagine you have a nice bamboo shoot in front of you. You're going to take that sword, slash it through the shoot. Now, if you don't move out of the way, well, you're going to slice yourself. So notice how the brain goes to the ground, uses the ground to get your body out of the way. Here come the shoulders. Release. Now, do it with the lead hand this time. you're going to gather that sword, the weight of your arm sword unit, and you're going to use that weight to slash through. Notice when I gather, see how I've got full range of motion. My whole body's out of the way. Now the weight of my arm and club is free to swing. If I don't move my body, now imagine me trying to slice this thing. If I do with just my arm, I'm going to wreck my arm. If I do it with my body, now I'm doing something like this. Now, you may find this pretty, familiar when you're walking up and down a range somewhere. Instead of getting full freedom, full range of motion out of